Hello everybody, BrioS here, and for you guys today I have the latest release by PGI. And yes, my friends, the iconic melee mech of the game, the 45-ton inner sphere battle mech, the HatchetMan, is finally in a game without melee combat. And even though that makes no sense, for today's video I'll explain a few things. I'll talk about 1. Why the HatchetMan in game instead of some other mechs. Number 2, I'll talk about the HatchetMan, generally speaking, in quick play, how it performs, its strengths and weaknesses, and then I'll go into the build. So firstly, let's talk about the HatchetMan. Why this melee-centric mech, iconic even in a game without melee combat? Well, the answer is pretty simple. PGI is really low on resources. It's an old game and not many developers with experience left. And the HatchetMan was already available in MechWarrior 5. So it's a simple effort to just copy the assets from MechWarrior 5, like the 3D model and all that, into MechWarrior Online. So back-end is pretty easy, really doable, and yeah, that's how we got the HatchetMan. Granted, it's a melee-centric mech in a game with no melee, but it's a decision that PGI made and they just have to live with the backlash. For me personally, I have a philosophy which I'll share with you guys today. One of my philosophies in life is that I always focus, I try to, it's not easy, I try to focus on the positive things that I get and try to, well, not fixate on the negative things. I acknowledge the negative things are there, like a melee mech in a non-melee game, but I focus on the positive things. And the positive thing about the HatchetMan is that, ladies and gents, we have new content. People have been clamoring for new content and we finally get a new mech. And it's pretty legit. And that brings us to the second part of the video before we go into the build and all that. How does the HatchetMan play in quick play? Is it worth getting? Is it different? Because there are other mechs like Enforcers and all that which are similar. Well, simply put, it's a viable mech. It has its own niche, so I guess it's worth paying cash if you're into that. But I personally will recommend you wait for it to be available by CE builds. So anyway, let's talk about the mech itself. The HatchetMan is a 45-ton mech. That's not a good tonnage because it's not as fast, agile and nimble as the pseudo-lights, as Data likes to call it, 40-tonners. And it's not as heavy as the 50-55-tonners like Wolverines and Stormcrows, where they can pack lots of weapons and tonnage for their weapons, lots of armor, etc. So it's a neither here nor there range, and that is a problem. And that's where the Cauldron stepped in. The Cauldron being the community group run full of members who are actually players, and in all transparency, I'm part of the Cauldron. So the Cauldron actually knew about the HatchetMan release, so they worked hard to work on the quirks to make it a bit more viable. So in short, ladies and gents, the HatchetMan is a pretty viable mech in itself. Its main key strength would be its tankiness. I'll talk about tankiness later. So it's a tanky boy and it has pretty good hard points also. So let's talk about the mech itself. So firstly, like I said, it's tanky. Let me unpack what really is tankiness. There are two main aspects to a mech when you talk about tankiness. One are the armor / structure, and the second one are its hitboxes. So for the HatchetMan, in terms of number 1, armor, it has armor quirks all around. So in terms of pure sheer numbers, it has more armor than other 45-tonners. But what makes the HatchetMan a tanky boy are its hitboxes. And in all transparency, the Cauldron doesn't get to play with it before launch, they just know about it. And I'm glad that the hitboxes are pretty darn good. So for the HatchetMan, the hitboxes are actually significantly above average. The hitboxes being the fact that you can isolate the components like left torso, right torso, CT for example. And the HatchetMan's hitboxes are pretty nice, hard to isolate, and you can twist to spread the damage pretty easily. So the damage it takes is spread around. In terms of hitboxes, as I was saying, it's not as good as probably the Vulcan being the best in terms of hitboxes, but it's way above average, probably around assassin level hitboxes, which are pretty darn good. Some mechs of course have horrible hitboxes, but I won't talk about that. Those are the mechs you easily isolate the torsos and stuff like that. So anyway, so it's a tanky boy. In terms of offensive capabilities, most of its hard points are on the torso. Granted, there are a few variants with weapons on the arms. The torsos have pretty good hitboxes, hard points. So you can actually strip the arm of weapons and armor, which is what I'm doing in this build, I'll talk about that later, and shift the tonnage elsewhere. and the hardpoints are really high mounted. For example, the 5K has got missile hardpoints, and as you'll see, they are on the shoulders, really high mounted above the cockpit, so you can pop tart because it jumps, fire the missiles without exposing much of your mech. Similarly for hill humping. And this little circle is a ballistic mount. It's also around cockpit level, so if you're running ballistics, so it's all pretty high mounted. So the hardpoints are also pretty darn good. This contributes to a mech that is tanky, or offensively fun to play, and pretty agile because it jumps and it has pretty good mobility, around Shadowcat levels without the MASC, the mask enabled. So not too bad. So anyway, that's a pretty long talk, and yeah, so that's the HatchetMan for you. Pretty pretty fun, I enjoy it. So anyway, let's get down to the HatchetMan 5K build. The Kuritan pattern, hence the Kuritan variant, hence the Kuritan pattern. So anyway, let's get down to the build. As I said, I'm running a simple MRM build, MRM30 in the right torso with a 20 in the left, with an XL255 engine giving me a speed of 91.8. You can actually drop the engine and up it to a MRM from a 20 to a 30, but I like this. It's a good balance of speed and firepower. 5 tons of ammunition is more than enough, with 3 jump jets to give you some pop-tarting capabilities. As I said, in this variant, I'm not using the arm hardpoints, so I'm stripping the arms of armor and shifting the tonnage elsewhere. And in terms of quirks, as I was saying, the HatchetMan is a tanky boy, so it has the HatchetMan baseline quirks, 16 in the torsos, CT, LT, RT, getting 16 each, that's a lot, and the limbs getting 12 each. So very tanky. In terms of offensive capabilities, the reason I run MRMs on the 5K is that the 5K has missile spread quirks of -10%. MRMs spreading too much, so a spread quirk really helps. It also has a heat reduction of 10%. I run this build on other builds like the Wolverine, but with the heat quirk, it helps a lot because after a while, it heats up really fast. It has a range boost of 10%, really not that important because, well, MRM spread a lot, so by the time they reach maximum range, they spread way too much. It also gets an energy cooldown, but I'm not using that. So in case you're wondering whether about tankiness, like I said, other than hitboxes, if you look at this, I have 72 plus structure, 28, that's 100 hit points in the side torsos. If you compare it to another mech like the Wolverine 7K, running a similar build, even though it's SRMs, I have about 61, 71, 80, 87 hit points in the right torso. So even though the Wolverine is 55 tons, it has less hit points than my Hunchback's 5K. So it has more armor and better hitboxes. So tanky. So then let's get down to the skills. I'm putting a lot into firepower, 56. Max cooldown to have a 12% cooldown reduction. Because of the heat quirk, I can fire continuously and faster, so I'm maxing it out for max DPS. Max range, this is debatable. As I said, MRM spread too much and it does get a range quirk of 10%. With all the skills, I get 15, total of 25% boost to range. Not really necessary, but I guess a bit of damage at long range helps. 5 tons of ammo is quite a lot. And all the skills for heat gen, reducing the heat generated by the MRMs by 10.5%. Moving along, I'm also getting the missile related quirks. 2 nodes of missile rack for more ammunition, 2 nodes of missile spread for additional 5%, total of 15% spread reduction, really important for MRMs. And I'm actually getting high explosive skills, 15% increase to damage. There are 2 components, when you crit. There are 2 components when you crit. One is the damage to component itself, the torso or whatever. So 15% increased damage for your crits, which helps a bit. Damage is damage, always good to have. And also increased equipment damage, so you can crit stuff faster, 15% more. And because missiles take a while to travel, especially MRMs with the exceedingly long range, I think the range of this is about 687 meters, so 5 nodes of velocity for 15% boost in the missile speed always helps. Next, survivability. Because we have a lot of structure quirks on the HatchetMan, I'm getting max armor hardening. All 10 nodes of armor hardening gives me a total armor bonus of 21%, hence the ridiculous amounts of armor. I'm not getting all the skeletal density, only 8 nodes. That gives me 28.8% boost to structure, which helps a bit. For jump jets, I'm getting 5 nodes of lift speed. That helps with the initial jump thrust, so it helps you pop-tart, fire the missiles, and drop back into cover better. Moving into operations, 5 nodes of cool run to increase heat dissipation by 10%, always useful. In terms of sensors, only 1 node of radar deprivation. The radar deprivation dropping from 20% per node to 19. In case you're wondering why is such a silly number, that's because with 5 nodes, maximum now is 95. So it's easier to get a lock on to a certain extent because radar deprivation means how fast you lose the lock. At 100% you lose it immediately, which is a problem for lights because when you target the light, if the light walks behind a tree, a single pixel will break your lock. So this is to prevent that. But I only have 1 node, so that's always useful. Next, auxiliary, just cool shots. 5 SPs to give me 2 enhanced cool shots, that's about it. Combined with the additional extra node, I'm gonna get a strike. So 1 strike and 2 cool shots. So that's it, ladies and gents. Pretty long video, but I did explain about the reason why we got a HatchetMan and a synopsis of how the HatchetMan plays in game. Good tankiness and good hard points. Pretty legit and pretty above average mobility. So anyway, with that being said, let me showcase the MRM HatchetMan 5K in action. So let's go. And for this first showcase match, we have a match on the most NASCAR-ish of all maps, Hibernal Rift, and I do hope they fix it eventually. And in this particular match, and also the next one, I was streaming live on my Twitch channel, and in this, I was dropping together in a nice format with Samzeal, Catgirl, and Elect, testing out the HatchetMans. So anyway, in this particular map, we start all the way in Delta 2, so we're gonna need to move fast to link up with the other groups. Thankfully, my MRMs have a very nice range of 687 meters, so I hope to spray the enemy a bit, hopefully from the flanks, and then move in to smash them at point blank range, because that's what MRMs do best. But most importantly, I don't want to start a NASCAR or end up running too far from the friendly team, so always check the minimap. We have 2 heavies and a medium. Charlie 4, 2 mechs ready. There they are. Dropship fight. Go to dropship. They will be there. Overrides engaged. Confirmed. Time to
target spotted.
Take a look here. Oh, please.
Need assistance.
Target acquired.
Target spotted.
Fuel at 25%. Fuel
Target spotted.
Engaging
Target
Alpha.
spotted. Need assistance.
What? My aim is getting terrible.
Target spotted.
Fuel at 25%.
Target spotted.
Target destroyed.
Oh, why am I moving forward by jumping backwards?
New target acquired.
Target spotted. Target
Don't all
spotted.
chase Bravo 4.
Target spotted. Need assistance. Sorry. Need assistance.
New target.
No, 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 no.
New target
Target
acquired.
spotted.
New target acquired.
Target spotted.
Target destroyed.
Well, down they go. We all one big murder ball running
Target
around.
spotted.
Acquired.
Let's just do that.
Target
Target
at
spotted.
25%. New target acquired. Target destroyed.
1 kill.
New target acquired.
Target spotted.
Licks on Delta Viper.
Fuel at 25%. New target acquired.
Need assistance. Target spotted.
Aha.
New target.
We're experiencing heat losses. Don't get flying on it. Target spotted. Target spotted.
Got me another.
Target spotted.
Acquired.
Target spotted.
Got me another.
New target acquired.
Target spotted.
No, your legs. Damn it.
New target
I wanted to get him.
acquired. Fuel at
Target
25%.
spotted. Target spotted.
Not the levels of mobility I would like. But... Oh, I touched him. Got me snake eyes. 8-5. We are like just running around and NASCARing. Losing 5 mechs. Delta 3.
Affirmative.
1 in Charlie 3.
Fuel at 25%.
Okay.
Target
We've lost
acquired.
Can't lose any more soldiers. Target
At
spotted.
25%. New target acquired. New target
Target
acquired.
spotted.
Fuel at 25%.
Almost got them all. Clean up the survivors.
Let's get this guy. Nope, not enough. Oh, I got Trojan. 11-6. Snake is probably the last one. Yep. Gotta protect my anus from snake. The sneaky snake is known to locate the anus of its enemy and insert itself to do some colonoscopy.
Target
Target
spotted.
acquired.
But I will say no to him.
Fuel at 25%.
Oh, I missed. I need to spot him. Come back, you. I thought I spotted him. Well, we'll let Fluffy get him. Just spreading the damage. 4 heavy mediums is strong nowadays.
Fuel
Come
at
back, snake.
25%.
Aha. You are surrounded.
Spotted.
Oh, I missed.
Target
No! Ilya gets him.
Detecting no more hostiles. Good job, soldier.
I must say I prefer the MRM hatchet. Plays like a pocket Wolverine. Feels a bit sluggish, but with the hitboxes, the tankiness is pretty nice. 8, 6, 7, 5 kills is definitely decent. Yep. 6-1 match score. 8 kills total by Alpha Lads, including Catgirl's kills. But yeah. Only 5 of us left. Not too shabby. So that last match on Hibernal Rift showcased the capabilities of the HatchetMan pretty well. Tanky, good firepower, and pretty okay mobility. But right now we have another match, and this time it's Canyon Network Domination. Yet again streaming it live and dropping reviewers, namely Samzil, Snake, and Kill. And in this particular match, I made a pretty controversial, well, slightly controversial call, and that's basically a full NSR no-skill rush to the enemy lines, because we start in the south at Fox 4, and we have a few fast and tanky boys like a few HatchetMan, piloted by me and Kill, for example. So the idea is to rush Charlie 4 as fast as we can, take out the big slow boys and their snipers, and in this particular map, by doing so, we also deny the junkyard Charlie 5, Charlie 6, where the snipers on the enemy team tend to set up. But the consequence of such a call, of course, is that the slow assaults tend to get left behind. And we have 3 slow assaults in Charlie lands. In such a call, just hold back, find a nice position, and start shooting for the assaults. And eventually, the fast boys tend to come back, and that's all you can do. Dealing damage is all you can do in such a call. So risky, but I guess it is the way it is. Okay, we've denied them the sniper spot. This spot, 1 sniper, Bravo 5, PPCs.
Echo 3, 1 time.
Yep.
By Alpha.
Yeah, repeat, Charlie 4 is a good spot to go. Baron, are you
Flying
with me?
back here.
Ah, Baron, hello. Bravo 5, I'm gonna engage the assault. There it is.
New target
Blood Asp.
acquired.
Target spotted. The enemy has destroyed Alpha.
What?
Target spotted. Target spotted.
You seem to be NASCARing, so what's up?
Yeah, they're always
Don't
Echo
get
5.
behind.
New target acquired.
Target spotted.
Just farm him.
Target destroyed.
Thank Bravo 4, Charlie 4.
Target spotted.
Target acquired. New target acquired.
Target spotted.
New target
Hi,
acquired.
thanks for the NASCAR guys. Behind here. That's
Affirmative.
great.
Target spotted.
I warn you.
At 25%.
Target
Ooh,
spotted.
Hanchi.
Target spotted.
Foxtrot here.
25%.
Foxtrot goes
Fuel
down.
at 0%.
Target spotted.
Let's go.
Target
Enough jump
spotted.
juice.
New target acquired. Fuel at
Delta 4 Valley. Yeah,
25%.
there.
Target
Artillery.
spotted.
New target acquired.
My CT is hurt.
Target spotted.
Can you push back on that spot?
Target spotted.
Acquired.
Target spotted. We are halfway to defeat. Target spotted. Need assistance. Target spotted.
Kilo's going down.
Fuel at 0%.
Give me another kill.
Target spotted.
Those with me, Hotel.
I'm giving you.
Target destroyed.
Let's head up. Those with me. Delta 3. Act. Ah, terrain.
5%. New target acquired.
Target spotted.
At 25%.
Target spotted.
Destroyed.
Baron gets him.
New target
Another Atlas.
Critical damage. New target acquired.
Target spotted.
That blind bucket slide. Anyone else see that?
Let's just YOLO him.
New target acquired. Get destroyed.
Oh, they're both dead.
New target destroyed.
Nicely done. Thank
Happy
you,
to
team.
hear of your
Holy
success
shit,
and
the
achievements
assault
on the surface.
mask is fun.
And that's a win. 12-3, a stomp. Sadly, we left that guy behind. 957. MRMs in such a situation is really farmy. 2 kills, almost 1000 damage, 539 match score. Unfortunately, we left Maverick Overwatch to die. Yep. Can't be helped. We left 2 assaults behind, but we pushed them hard for the win. He has range, so actually he can get a bit more damage than 193, but I guess not. Yep. So anyway, a win is a win, I suppose. Feels bad though, leaving assaults behind to die. So that's it, ladies and gents, for this video on the tanky HatchetMan 5K with those beautiful 50 MRMs. Fast moving, tanky, and with a useless hatchet. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. So till next time guys, I hope to see you on the battlefield and have fun, stay chill and be positive. Bye.